So here we are again, and I'm so thrilled, as I am always thrilled, but I'm thrilled today. What a great way to kick off a Monday with my friend Parrish Lamb. Parrish has a historic career in sales. He's one of the coolest guys I know, a guy that will give you the shirt off his back. And so today, every day, 4 o'clock, we jam. Parrish Lamb, it's your chance to tell us something good and tell us something good about Orangetheory, brother.
Wow, my man. It's good seeing you. Listen, we have an old saying here at Orangetheory, you never miss a Monday, right? So I think that kind of goes with your tell me something good on a Monday. My good is that we are relaunching and reopening 8 studios here in my region. And day one, we have a class going on now. So my something good is, my man, we're getting back to it. You know,
we are getting to it.
It's exciting. I think there's a pent up demand. People have been in quarantine now for over 60 days, and people are ready to go at it again. You know what I mean? For the most part, there's still some.
I do.
Yeah.
So for the sake of my audience, can you share a little bit about your career, how we met, and what landed you in the honeypot that we know as Orangetheory?
Yeah, so pretty wild ride, right? I started in professional sports years ago in the NHL on the sales and marketing side. I moved from Nashville to Tampa and worked with the Lightning for several years before I moved to South Florida. My move to South Florida is where I got involved in casino and gaming, and was running as a director of player development over in the Bahamas for a casino before we had a hurricane that destroyed our property. You and I met back in the day, and then once
I can remember those trips, brother. Those trips were a scene.
They were a good scene. Yeah, those were a good time. Those were. That's where the gray comes from now, you know?
That's why I shave it off, man. I'm not.
Yeah. So once we transitioned from the casino and gaming, and I decided on a career path, my liver couldn't take anymore. I got involved in the fitness industry, and I've been in the fitness space then since 2004. And then recently joined the Orangetheory group. My partner and I picked up a region here in Missouri. We now have 14 studios in our region. We've got 13 that are currently back up and open. One that's still, one that we're still working on with the city to get approval for. And it's been a wild ride, man. It's been amazing. Studios are doing well. Pre-COVID, we're doing fantastic. Post-COVID, we'll see. But the early signs are that we'll be back stronger than ever.
So I'm curious. I mean, obviously, COVID has changed the actual execution and experience. Sure. I'm a big Orangetheory fan. I know Ellen from the early days. Talk to me about what has gone on in the studio that makes it safe for people, because there's a lot of people that are going to watch this are going to get some comfort about coming back to the show, coming back to work out.
Yeah. So every city, municipality, or state really has a different kind of requirement from a guideline perspective. Some are, from a social distancing, some are as small as 6 feet. I've seen it as high as 12 feet in Arkansas.
Wow.
So class sizes have been, obviously very, very much impacted. Where we used to go 24 to 36 people, you're now looking at class sizes on the low end in Arkansas and states that have 12 feet, where there's only 6 people in a class.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah. And most areas you're looking somewhere in the 12 to 18 range per class. I think Broward County has a 10-foot social distancing requirement. So those classes are a little bit smaller. I think Palm Beach and Miami-Dade County are a little bit smaller than the 10 feet. So I think you're going to find somewhere in that 12 to 15 range. And here in our studios, we're anywhere from the 12 to 18 people in a class. So while it's restricted, we do the best with what we can, right? And protect our consumers, protect our customers. And I think that the members appreciate that, while we're going through it. And, we'll continue to adhere to all the CDC guidelines and the local municipalities and what's required.
I love hearing that. I mean, I'm a huge fan. When I lived in Weston, I went all the time, and those classes we had 3 different groups moving around. One went from, bike to, rower to boom, so it was crazy. Great job. And I'm so glad to hear that. Speak to it if you can about your corporate office, because when you and I visited a while back, when you guys moved into that new office, I think it speaks to an unbelievable culture. And one of the things that I speak about, when I was traveling, I'm speaking about virtually now, is holding a corporate culture to accountability. And that place is insane.
So I'm fortunate enough that I do wear multiple hats. I also handle the development for Orangetheory in the U.S. We've sold over 1,500 licenses now. We had over 1,200 studios that were open pre-COVID. We've gotten 600 of those back open now. So I do wear multiple hats from the corporate side as director franchise sales. And, we've grown. Listen, since 2011, we went from 3 employees to now just over 200 in the corporate office. So wow, we relocated our corporate office. Dave Long and the ownership group purchased a building in Boca now that has its own studio. As you've seen and you've been in there, we have a spa in the bottom that offers several different amenities, from massage, yoga classes daily. There's a cold tub. There's sleep pods, for the millennials out there that need to get some sleep.
But you know what? I'll tell you, when I had my agency, a lot of the people said, man, it would be great if we could nap during the day. And you know what? I mean, it's fun.
Listen, you work hard, you play hard, man. Some of these, I guess these kids stay out late at night, So, so it's really cool, man. We've got IT really takes up the entire bottom part of our offices. And then on the second level is more of the development, international team, accounting, international group, and the executive team. And it's been amazing to see the growth. For the 9 years now, from when we started with, 1 studio on 17th Street in Fort Lauderdale to having 1,200 franchise locations is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's, having seen that growth, I was one of the early adopters to Orangetheory and to the concept. And every studio was kind of doing their own thing, different music, different trainers, in order to scale, which you guys have done amazing. You sort of made it a process so that you can go anywhere in the world. And I mean the world. And when we were in your office looking at the map of growth, Europe was Europe and China, correct? Well, where were the big growth areas?
So obviously we started in the U.S., then grew into Canada, then I believe Mexico, and then we started. We had a deal over in London and England, and then it just began to kind of take on a life of its own, man. We went into South America, we went into the Caribbean, we went into the UAE, which was Dubai and Saudi Arabia. We're now in Germany, Japan, New Zealand, Australia, you name it. Yeah, it's incredible. And the growth and spreading the Orangetheory brand worldwide is nothing short of just, miraculous, and how it was conceived. And like you said, back in the early days, it was kind of the wild, wild west, right? Like coaches and trainers were doing their own classes. And I think Dave Long's vision and making it more consistent so that we could, you could launch this worldwide, so that the class you're taking in Shanghai is the same class you're taking in Fort Lauderdale. And then, every day of the week there's a different class, but that class is being taught the exact same class in every single studio in the United States and abroad. So they had to put some consistency around the model. And I think from that point forward, it just is when the growth just exploded.
You know, I think that's a great lesson for other businesses is that, you know, you open up multiple locations and growth, but growth without discipline and consistency is not necessarily a good thing. It becomes chaos.
Yeah, I totally agree. There was a point in time where I think that they realized that, and I think corrected it very quickly. And it was a little bit of a pushback early on, but I think after it set in, the growth and the way the brand just took off was, you could tell immediately that it was the right move.
So I'm going to switch gears on you a little bit. I know you a pretty long time, and I know what you mean to me, and what I've seen what you've done. Share with the audience, if you will, some of what you've considered to be your keys to success along the way. I can just imagine what they would be, but culminating with obviously where you are now and dealing with the COVID virus.
Yeah, look, I think the old adage, man, that nothing can really replace work ethic and putting in the time, right? Like you and I talk about sports all the time, right? Your sons are obviously involved in football, and me playing, back in the day, college baseball and stuff. And I just look at it in terms of, you get out of it what you put in it. And for me, when I got involved with Orangetheory, first on the corporate side and then on the ownership side and owning my own region and studios, I had always waited for an opportunity to kind of jump in and get involved with the business and kind of be able to dictate my own future, right, as my own boss. And when I saw the Orangetheory model, it took me about 2 days to realize that this was the right path that I wanted to go down. It was just having to filter through the who am I going to do it with, who's the right partner, to offset my what I lack in terms of what I feel my skill sets are, right? So it was it's been an amazing journey. Like I said, we've been at it now in ownership and owning studios for just over 5 years. So we got in kind of in the middle of the growth pattern for Orangetheory. Orangetheory started in 2009. We jumped in around 2000, late 2000 or middle 2015. So it's just been an amazing journey, like I mentioned, and I think the work ethic and putting in the time and surrounding yourself with the right people and the right partnership was really the secret to our success.
I love that. I mean, I'm always a fan of your biggest asset in business is the people that are around you. Yeah. And myself as an entrepreneur, I had some skill sets that were really good and some that were deficient. Yeah. I plugged the hole with people who could fill those deficiencies. And clearly you guys did that. And I have to give a shout out to Dave Long because he is a Gator, of course. And so Orange lives strong, baby.
Yeah. Now being a Tennessee Vol running around that Gator office, I get beat on quite a bit,
Well, it is orange, so it
is orange. Yeah, we picked the right color. Yeah, for sure.
I love it. So, sort of specific to COVID, what did you do to get through this? Because obviously, I know you travel a lot. You're a social creature like me. What was your keys there?
Yeah, so it's been crazy, right? Like we, as of March 16th, literally shut down 1,200 studios across the U.S. Wow. Look, we shut down the corporate office. Corporate offices are now just starting to come back, but even corporate offices are at a scaled down level. With social distancing in place. So. It's certainly, it's going to be a while, I think, Steve, before we see, where we were pre-COVID, where we were all gathering and, you know, every office was filled. Look, we hunkered down for 60 days, man. The wife didn't want me leaving the house. And every time I did, I walked in the front door and I was getting sprayed with alcohol. You know, it was crazy, dude. It was crazy. So, you know, look, I, for the first time, jumped on a plane about a month ago to come back up to St. Louis. I think that flight had 3 people on it.
Wow.
I jumped on a flight. I think I mentioned to you over the weekend on Saturday to come back up here. The good news is that flight was probably 75% capacity.
No kidding, man. That's a good sign. Good.
Yeah, all the middle seats were empty, but I felt really good about it. Airports seemed to be busier. You know, we seem to, you know, slowly but surely be getting back to it.
Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. So in our final minute here, and I know how busy you are, and you know, what's one piece of advice from a health standpoint or a business standpoint that you would want to throw out at people, even through the Orangetheory lens, with your philosophy? What would that be?
Listen, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything, right? So we have to take care of ourselves first. And I think, you know, part of that component is, you know, and you know this, you and I talk about it, getting your workouts in, man. And from a respiratory standpoint, this is a respiratory virus. And, you know, we got to get into the gyms. We've got to get into the clubs. We've got to make sure that we're getting our workouts in. You know, for obvious reasons, the out of studio workouts are not what going into an actual gym and getting your actual, you know, coach led workout. It doesn't provide the same workout that you do inside of your gym. So, you know, my message would be, you know, look, protect yourself, stay safe, you know, adhere to the guidelines that the cities, the municipalities, or the CDC have provided for us, you know, and we'll fight through this and come out the other side. And I believe be a stronger country and you know, stronger organization for it.
You are awesome. You're like one of those people that make me feel good. And I've told you that before. Every time I'm around you, you're just like a bundle of fun. So thanks for spending time with us.
You bet, brother.
I do want to join that.
I've got it on my list. I've got it on my list. I haven't forgot about you.
I'm going to go back to Orangetheory because I think that kind of workout fits right in my diet and health plan. So thanks for spending time.
All the best.
Stay safe, and I'll speak to you soon.
All the best, man. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.